Joe, how are you?
Everything is good. Everything is good.
Joe, talk a little bit about the race. How you feeling about the whole thing, and where do you see it so far?
We feel really good about the race. You know, as our troops go out there and the volunteers, and we go door to door or do it on the phone, the feedback has been very positive. And it's all about that personal contact that we're making with the constituents and telling them about a very positive story. You know, a story about how I've served the residents in the Senate for 3 years, how I've provided constituent services, done my legislative work, and again, keeping it very positive about the issues that matter to people.
Joe, any polls?
There have been. I trust on one poll, November 6th. That's the biggest poll I care about at this point. And so we go forward. You know, polls would be very positive at this point, but again, we keep going forward.
Joe, what would you say are the top 3 needs of the district?
Well, you know, first is still the economy, so jobs are always, you know, a priority. We need, you know, residents to work. Those who want to work should be able to work and provide for themselves and for their families. In that end, we're trying to find job opportunities. I'm doing my 6th job fair on October 19th, in which there'll be over 1,000 job opportunities there. We promote the expansion of the Resorts World Casino. There'll be thousands of job opportunities there at some point. And we look for where there are growing industries that could create job opportunities. Working with small businesses, because each small business hires people locally. So there's a lot of things we have done and can do to protect the jobs. You know, many people have obviously educational concerns for their kids, and as people go find that they can't find work, they go back to school. So higher education or postgraduate education. So we need to make sure that our educational opportunities for our families and for our people are there when they need it. And you know, the other thing is there's public safety, there's education, there's job security, there's health care. Everybody has a unique, distinct need, and we need to address these needs on a case-by-case basis. And that's what I've been doing over the past 3 years in the state Senate.
Joe, talk a little bit about serving in a minority, because some people will make the argument there's such a mess up there that why go back to the state Senate in a minority? I mean, it's going to be hard to get bills passed. You know, that part of the reason they say that Councilman Ulrich is running is because the Republicans would like a more comfortable majority than they currently have.
I'm a firm believer that it doesn't matter if you're in the majority or the minority. The bottom line is you have an opportunity to help people, and that's why I'm in here. You know, I wake up every morning with the opportunity of helping people, and that's what I love to do. I've been in the majority, I've been in the minority. Yes, it's better to be in the majority, but we need to break that kind of theory, ideology, or philosophy up in Albany that the only way you get things done is if you're in the majority. You know, to get things done, you need good ideas, you need a good work ethic, and you need to have a focus of helping people. That should be the way to get things done up in Albany, not because you're in the majority. So any candidate out there that says, vote for me because I'll be in the majority, I could get things done, is not good government for our people. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican who introduces a piece of legislation that's going to help people throughout the city or state. It's a fact that that legislation is going to help. So this idea about being the majority and that's the only way you get things done is wrong for our people, it's wrong for our government, and I'm there to change that. So, you know, even if we go back in January and the Democrats are in the majority, I'm still hoping to change that philosophy that we need to share our resources amongst bipartisan efforts to make sure that we're doing the right thing by the people.
Joe, talk a little about the prospects. You have a large Latino demographic in the district. Talk about the prospects of a Dream Fund or Dream Act up in Albany. So far, it doesn't. They're saying possibly this session something may happen. What do you think?
I think there's always that possibility. We always, you know, keep an optimistic look about the Dream Fund that did pass the Assembly. The Dream Act is a bigger discussion, but the Democrats were not even able to even think about getting those kind of bills to the floor because the Republicans earlier in the year took 300 Democratic bills, including the Dream Act, including the Dream Fund, and put all these bills into the Rules Committee. The Republicans did that so that the Democrats cannot use the procedural structure that is afforded to us in the Senate to get bills to the committee and to the floor. So the Republicans took all the Democratic bills out of their respective committees, put it into rules to basically die there. And that's why we didn't do minimum wage, and that's why we didn't do any Dream Fund bill, Dream Act. That's why we didn't do health care or reproductive health care rights for women. The Republicans did not want to touch these issues. We're looking to go back there in January as Democrats, fighting for our people to take up these issues that matter most for them, and those are the issues that we speak of.
Senator, what do you think of the prospects of Senator Jeff Klein, your colleague, and the IDC coming back to the fold, or John Sampson stepping down? Because people read the papers, they see and they hear this. They say, look, There's the Brennan Center's right. Albany continues to be dysfunctional. What do you think of the prospects of taking a majority? I know Senator Mike Gianaris is working hard on making that happen. What do you think of those prospects and the leadership problem up there with the Senate Democrats?
I think the leadership issue will be obviously spoken of on November 7th, the day after the election. I can't let that party politics and that talk about majority and whose party is it going to be in the majority. I can't let that kind of discussion blur my vision, which is focusing on the needs of my people. So up until November 6th, we're going to constantly talk about the needs of my people, what I have done, how I've addressed their needs, and going forward for a vision. After the election, we will deal with the leadership issues, but until then, my focus will always be that of my people.
Senator, last question. Draw a contrast between you and your opponent, Eric Ulrich. If I'm the voter, why should I vote for Senator Addabbo and not Councilman Ulrich?
I don't normally like to talk about my opponent. I talk about my work ethic. I have a 24-hour live operator service that residents of my district can call my office, and they get a live operator 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because we have problems that happen on a weekend. We have brownouts and blackouts. They can call my office, get the live operator. It's that kind of work ethic, and I drive myself very hard to work for my people. It's that kind of work ethic that hopefully people acknowledge and they appreciate as I work for them up in Albany. We have vast differences on certain issues like hydrofracking, one of the single most important environmental issues of our state in its time. My opponent is for hydrofracking, and I am totally against it. I cannot see jeopardizing our water supply and the quality of water for our people, for our families, for our businesses. There are stark differences between me and my opponent, and I'm hoping that people acknowledge the work that I have done over the past 3 years, my vision going forward, and my leadership by listening first and leading, and acknowledge that and support me on November 6th.
Thank you very much, Senator.
Thank you,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.